light of this being Halloween, we've decided to play the Longest Night event from Privateer Press instead of our normal game. In this event, you have a 24-inch by 12-inch zone, that's the festival area, and inside that zone are two 4x4 tents. Unlike normal scenarios, this scenario ends when a player reaches 2 control points. During the event, each player's turn, you will place one Longest Night Thrall at each exit of the tent for both tents in the zone. So each turn will produce 4 Longest Night Thralls that the player can then activate. Longest Night Thralls have the Frenzy rule, which means these models automatically frenzy during their activation. Because they're frenzied models, this gives them boosted rolls as well as indicates the activation order or activation in which models that they will attack based upon the frenzy rules.
Hey everybody, CutthroatCure here. So I decided to go with Madrak 1. I decided to bring 3 beasts, the Mauler, Mulg, and a Bouncer, because I thought they'd make a good battle group. I decided to bring a max unit of the champions with Skaldi because I had just gotten Skaldi done and wanted to see how they performed. I brought a max unit of the Fennblades because they're my favorites with their UA. I brought the Gobbers for the smoke, and for my support I brought the Fellcaller Hero, Chronicler, and Janissa.
So the basic premise of this list is I have 2 units, max 10-man units of models that are incorporeal and can become incorporeal, that are going to have apparition, and that will both have stealth through the use of mirage and occultation. Now his army doesn't have a whole lot of range, so I don't particularly get to use the stealth, but it is, as a concept, pretty solid. I've got the Bane Knights as well, who are going to be all sorts of ghostly, vengeancing models, and with Curse of Shadows, hopefully I can just move my army wherever I want, however I want, before the turn starts and I need to declare my charge lanes through Vengeance Apparition. So I dropped the Bane Knights in the center, trying to hold up anything big coming through the middle. I put the Witches over on the hill in order to take any random fire that's coming their way. Janissa has a rock, there's some stones, whatever. Deathjack is there to toss out Abyssal Gate in order to do damage and teleport 3 inches, which is extremely useful in certain scenarios. Withershadow Combine just allow me to keep everything awake and going, with the puppet strings, with the additional Abyssal Gate, and with Black Arts allowing me to upkeep either Mirage or Occultation for free every turn. Deathripper is just a good, solid Archnode. I only need 1 to get a good Curse of Shadows, Hex Blast, what have you in place. The Blackbanes are put on the side there to jam up anything coming down the line at the flank, hoping to keep my center Bane Knights intact from anything that can easily swamp around their measly speed 5. I do like that a lot of the list has Pathfinder, and that there's a whole bunch of stuff that causes problems for the enemy in terms of positioning. Here we do a little bit of forgetting. I give him his turn, and he starts to think about a couple things, and then we realize that there's a freaking scenario to play. We've got some thralls to place even on the first player's first turn. So with Deathjack up there blocking the lines, I'm only going to end up dropping 3 thralls on the board. I'm going to have to place them in positions so that they frenzy, because they frenzy every turn, and not do a whole lot of damage. Put 1 near the incorporeal model, and then hopefully the other 2 will go towards his army. I was stunned to see that there was actually things going to happen from this. They're fast, they hit hard, and they actually, despite their miserable mat of 3, are just accurate as crap. So the first one comes up and whacks the garbage out of the Mauler. And the last one takes care of the Blackbane's Ghost Raider with doing absolutely nothing to it.
So the first thing I do in my turn is I move my Runebearer and cast Harmonious Exaltation. With a 5 Fury caster, you got to make sure that you make every point really last and spread it out, which he's really good for. So one of the things I'm trying to do is, since I don't have as much reach in distance as Deathjack, I'm also trying to block up the doors of the tents, because I really feel that having those thralls come out could cause some issues, especially since I have some pretty meaty solos that are over there. I'm trying to, my basic idea is that if I can get my guys into the zone and start maybe doing a little bit of, you know, threatening on some charge lanes, and, you know, I can try and catch my opponent off guard. One thing that I'm definitely kicking myself for is that, you know, my Fennblades and my champions are right across from the ghosts, and that's kind of an issue for me since I didn't bring my sorcerer, because he was currently on my painting desk, which seems to be a pretty familiar excuse for me. So I need to start painting my stuff a little bit faster to make sure that I have it ready when I play games. So, of course, I'm getting Madrak up in there because, you know, I feel like he's going to be a little bit safer. He's got, you know, the Bouncer and Mulg, and I feel that if I can get all of my heavy-hitting units up, then I should be able to not only outdistance and create a really good screen, but also be able to countercharge after he gets the Alpha Strike. Now, it might be strange that I put the 2 Fennblades right there beside the tent, but my major focus is to make sure that no Thrall comes out of there, because while these Thralls may not be like the scariest thing in the world and they may not be weapon masters, they do frenzy every at the beginning of every turn, and so at 3 dice to hit and 3 dice to damage, they can do a decent amount, as I found out through the course of this game. I can definitely say that, you know, I take my champions up there on the flank, on the top side, because I figure that even if the Blackbanes get through them, run through them, or try and jam them up, that they have enough armor to take the hit. So at the end of my turn, I'm bringing out the Thralls, and of course the only one that I can put out is one right beside my Mauler, because I wasn't able to get that extra, you know, smidgen to make sure that he didn't have a spot. So of course the Thrall turns around, attacks my Mauler, and puts 7 points of damage on him.
Looking at what he's done his first turn, I'm kind of happy with the scenario play, but I'm also a little wary of trying to take care of that Mauler with my Deathjack completely out of place. Yeah, he kept the Thralls from getting through the first turn, but now, without Mirage, which I should have cast on him, he's completely out of position, and I've now got to sacrifice another turn, hoping that I can play out without Mulg getting in to beat his face. I know exactly where to put him due to pre-measuring, but it's still not what I wanted to do. I really wish I could have been able to move him into a position to get the drop on Mulg this turn. After apparating both my units, I really wanted to make sure that I could drop spells where I wanted to drop spells. Unfortunately, with where the Deathripper could get to, because I parked him behind the lake like a frickin' ninny, I couldn't actually get any spells into anything that I wanted to. So I'm left trying to make do with no Curse of Shadows, no Hex Blast, no Abyssal Gate. So I'll take the Blood Witches that are out of position a bit. Yeah, I'm stealth, so I'm protected from some of Janissa's stuff, some of the ancillary spells over on that side, and with their power 12s and the Curse of Shadows, I can take the Mauler down, but I'd really have preferred them to be with Blast in the middle of the army, hacking through some of those Fennblades. That's just not going to happen, though, so I'll make the best of what I have over here and sacrifice the least amount of possible Blood Witches in order to pull the Mauler, hopefully, out of position. And draw any other support over to this side. The Blackbanes, I am going to try and do the same to the Fennblades and Champions. Again, they're not where I want them to be. Champions are not the best target for POW 10s, especially when I can't get Curse of Shadows over there because of hiding that stupid Arc Node behind the pond. The Bane Knights, I'm trying to position in the best position possible so that I can make use of Vengeance, force him into me, and make it so he doesn't kill all too many of them. I just need a couple to be able to get in there and start stabbing people. The Satyxis Captain just goes in there, kills the 2 Thralls, and repositions herself in such a manner that she can, with a Bane Knight, block the Thralls. Goreshade's just going to position himself better for the round. This stupid Bane Knight. I completely forgot him first 2 turns. He hangs out, and we fix the problem. I really want to be in position with that Deathripper next turn, however, to make sure that I can get Curse of Shadows out, hopefully on the Champions, but if not, I'll take it on the Fennblades, as they are going to be all over the board, and I need to be able to get through them. So I'm able to get a couple charges out on the Fennblades. Not as much as I would like. I really wanted more than 3 to get in there, and take out a third of his unit before he gets the Vengeance, but I don't think that's how the plan ended up working out. So with Deathjack and Goreshade and the Bane Knights, I'm going to have to hold the middle, and the 2 other units are going to have to hold the sides, and I really hope it makes it through to the next turn in that type of manner. I really need to put Mirage out on the Bane Knights, hoping to get Vengeance and Apparition, which would be fantastic to get me into position. So with that, I can't get a Hex Blast out, I can't get an Abyssal Gate out, and that's going to be it, and time for Thralls. Alright, the Thralls here are super quick. We put 1 out, 2 out, 1 charges a Blackbane, 1 charges a Blood Witch, nothing happens. The Blood Witch dies, and we turn over.
So going into my second turn, I am kind of worried that the Knights are moving up so quickly, but I feel like with my Vengeance that I'm going to be able to get in and maybe take a few of them out, clear up some lanes. I know that this isn't going to do a huge amount of work for me just because of the fact that I know with Goreshade 2's feat that he's able to bring a decent amount of them back, but I figure I can't just leave them sit and kill my guys. So, and I'm also going to try and remove their Brutal Charge ability, just because since they lost Weapon Master, I feel that if I can close the gap and keep them from charging, then I'm definitely not taking as much damage. His Ghost up at the top definitely got in there and tried to jam in my Champions. Now, at this point, I completely forgot about, being able to move through them for a little bit, but since they all attacked, and I think lit one of my Champions on fire and did, I think, a point of damage, I was able to Vengeance over and remove a few of them, but still, they were still blocking my Champions, so maybe putting them up at the top wasn't the best idea for me. So I decide that I'm going to activate Janissa here, and my major focus is that I am trying to kill this Satyxis Raider in front of me, Blood Witch, and hopefully arc a rune hammer, a rock hammer, onto the Blood Witch, just because I know she's a pain in the ass. But sadly, I wasn't able to get any of my rolls to hit, even with armor piercing, and that was unfortunate. So my major concern is I'm looking back here, and I definitely see Goreshades over there by the water, and I feel that with my mini feat on my Fennblades and Madrak's feat, I believe I could possibly get a decent amount of damage into Goreshade between Guided Hand and the extra attacks. So I'm trying to decide if it's the best idea to clear some of the guys and get in there to maybe offer a few extra attacks. I move Mulg up there just because I know he's a little bit stronger, and as long as I have the screening unit in front of me, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Deathjack, of course, is blocked a little bit by the corner of the bottom tent, so I'm not real worried about him charging me, since he'd have to charge at such an angle that I would be out of his melee. So I'm definitely trying to make sure that I get as many of my guys in to my feet as possible. I know in the past I have had an issue with not moving my Madraks up the middle, and therefore have blunted my charge. My feats. So I decided that 100% I wanted to make sure that I use the full extent of my feat by running up the middle. I moved the Gobbers in, and the Gobbers use their smoke ability just to give me, maybe a little bit of extra protection against any shooting that might come my way. So I remove some of the pieces using Madrak's axe, just trying to clear some space for my charge. But sadly, because so many of my guys are on the other side of the tent, I'm actually kind of blocked a little bit, but I still feel like if I can, use my move accordingly, that I can still get in there and at least, as I said, take away the brutal charge ability, block some charge lanes, just make sure that his army is not getting to mine with the most, with all of their strength. And I also feel like by getting my guys up there that I can threaten Goreshade a little bit more and make him worry about what he has to do. One thing I did do is when I moved Mulg up there, I cast his Animus on him, and I double checked to make sure that Goreshade was within 10, so that if he wanted to cast any of his spells and not, start giving up some of the ground, he was going to have to do it at a higher cost, and that went for upkeeps. So I was trying to definitely make Goreshade use up his focus so that when I got in there, it was going to be better. Now, luckily, I was able to actually get one of my Fennblades into charge distance with Goreshade due to a little bit of pre-measuring maneuverability and making sure that I was right within the two. And I definitely thank Seething Ginger for helping me do that as precisely as possible, which was super helpful. As I said, I'm just trying to make Goreshade waste his focus and start putting some damage on him, because I believe that if I can start pushing him out or, knocking a bit off him, it'll give me an easier chance to, work in there and do some more damage. So right here, I'm just moving up the rest of my Fennblades. I did pop their mini feet, and I'm trying to make sure that they had Pathfinder and that they could get where they needed to go. So I'm rolling into Goreshade, and of course Goreshade was hit and took some damage, and he did shirk 5 of it off using one of his focus, but I put, I think, 7 damage on him, or 5 damage on him, which for me made it very helpful. So my major focus right now is making sure that his guys are blocked up, my guys are safe, with Mulg back there and Madrak. And I am playing a little bit up, but I feel like if I can just keep pushing, that maybe I can find a good opening to, maybe bring up his flank or destroy enough that it gives me the option to, remove Goreshade or maybe even take the zone. Now, I don't see taking the zone much as an option, just because of the fact that still have all these blood witches over here on the bottom part, and I just don't have a real efficient way to remove all of them. So the Mauler's staying back there just to make sure that nobody's coming around and taking my flank, and I kind of blocked him in with between Mulg and everybody, but I feel like he's in a good spot. So finally I activate the thralls, and I'm actually able to remove one of the Withershadow Combine, attack a Satyxis, and I was able to sadly attack my own Fennblade and proc Vengeance again on my guys.
Alright, here we go. Turn 3. Losing Ammonia last turn really sucked. I should have positioned her a bit better. Losing that free upkeep is going to be problematic. I really need to be able to keep possibly Curse of Shadows, hopefully Occultation, hopefully Mirage all up, all out, without draining my pool by 3. That one makes a huge difference. The big hit on me has me a little concerned. If I hadn't had focus on me, it'd have been a lot worse. I'd have had to play a little bit back, and I just can't afford to do that with Goreshade 2. He is the personal death dealer in my army. Almost all of his wins that I have come from personal assassination. Freeze on a power 15 weapon is just way too good. I'm a little disappointed with the outcome of Vengeance here, as in I don't kill anything, but it is what it is. I've got the apparition on the Blackbanes to kind of dig them in against the Fennblades. I'm glad that I don't have as many Fennblades in the center, but tying them up with a couple of the Blackbanes just isn't what I needed to have happen. I needed to have the Blackbanes getting in there, getting damage, killing models, regenerating their unit, and it's just not working. Which is making me disappointed, because I need, at feat time, to burn all my Mechanithralls in order to get a big, beefy unit of Blackbane's Ghost Raiders into the back of the army, getting back strikes, lighting things on fire. It is how the list is set up, and I just can't get it. The Bane Knights also having apparition is really useful, being able to position themselves in a very good position for their activation after Vengeance. That 5 inches is awesome. The Satyxis captain has been amazing the whole game. She's able to just kind of run in, stab a couple guys, move back a little bit, taking out a couple key models. I'm really disappointed in the Blackbane's activation as well. I wanted a bit more to come out of it. I wanted to be able to put more of the Raiders on the board, as I mentioned, and with him putting up Surefoot last round on the Fennblades, I couldn't get through. Even with backstrikes, even with being a corporeal, even with having all sorts of things go on in my favor, just unable to capitalize. I did get Goreshade in there a little bit. shouldn't have. Well, no, he didn't activate yet. I'm sorry. Now he's going to start... I'm going to start thinking about what I want to do with Goreshade. I need to get Curse of Shadows out onto the frozen model that I whacked and wasn't entuffed. So getting the Curse of Shadows out there on the unit is really going to enable Deathjack to wander through the one model that's in his way and just walk right up to Mulg and kill him. I have no doubt that even without Curse of Shadows on Mulg, I'm going to be able, Power Strength 19s, to just beat Mulg into the dirt. It might not be nice, it might not be fun, but or it might be a little close, but with 5, 7, 8 attacks, I'll finish him off. I'm also worried after losing ammonia that I have to block off the edges of my my tents. I just don't want to lose another guy to that stupid tent. I do pop my feet here. I do bring back a whole bunch of Blackbanes. I forget to bring back the Bane Knights that I put over on the other side. Eventually we bring them in. I put them way in the back. They don't particularly matter. But getting the incorporeal Blackbanes back was a big deal. Now I'm just going to keep tying up the champions, keep tying up the Fennblades over on the other side, and they can't push through due to where my models are placed and how far they go. They just can't push through to get to my juicy stuff immediately. Here is where I do a typical dumb thing. I cast Curse of Shadows. I want to be able to get my Bane Knights behind and get some backstrikes on some models. But I declare a charge with 2 of the models over onto Madrak. I take back for a couple of seconds and no, I declare what I'm doing. They go back into Madrak, they charge. I suffer a lot. The unit has to attack the front of the sure-footed defense 14 stupid Fennblades, and with the Mat 6 they're just not good enough. They just don't get to do it. Now Deathjack comes in, and as I said, I am 100% positive that he is going to be able to take down Mulg. And once I take down Mulg, I'm not really afraid of anything else in the list getting to me. The Mauler's kind of blocked. He's going to have a swarm of Satyxis breathing down his neck. So even if he managed to unjam himself and get the Mauler over to Deathjack next turn, I'm not really worried, because I'll be able to... That means that I have all my Satyxis sliding around, and I'll be able to kill Madrak without a particularly big problem. But here, I'm going in. I really want to kill Janissa. I need her not to spray my stealth guys, and I need to kill that Thrall while also blocking off the tent from spawning more Thralls. I really think that the scenario played a big part in the game, not because it was live, but because it was actively killing models that I needed to have alive and well. Fortunately, with my positioning, I'm able to prevent any more Thralls coming through. See, this is where I'm actually finishing my feet like an idiot. Pushing through and making sure that everybody gets in. We spawn 1 Thrall. It makes an attack and kills a fairly important model, because now I no longer have hero strategy to deal with. And that's fantastic.
So that definitely hurt. I guess I didn't realize how powerful Curse of Shadows was, and honestly, it really did a number on me. Losing Mulg in my opponent's turn really was rough, and I have to say that, just him being able to move through all of my guys and, and weaken them really made it hard. Now, one thing I definitely have to say that I learned is absolutely fantastic is I cannot begin to express how much I love the new rendition of Surefoot. Before, having to be within 3 inches of Madrak, it made it good, and I could affect, like, a lot of my beasts, but, this new version where I can put it on an entire model or unit and have them just completely immune to knockdown and the +2 defense pushed my Fennblades above and beyond. I definitely know my opponent had a lot of trouble trying to kill my guys since I was making tough rolls like a madman, was not getting knocked down, and still was coming back. So if there was a way I could figure out to put Retaliatory Strike on Fennblades with Madrak Surefoot would just be awesome. So once again, using all of my vengeance move to kind of kill some of my opponent's guys, just to kind of make sure that I had the ability to clear some zones, because as you can see, I have gotten a lot closer to Goreshade 2, and that's a big deal for me. Now, something that kind of held me up and kind of busted me is the fact that had I been able to get the Fellcaller over there to get Warcry onto the Fennblades, I would have been +2 mat, and along with my plan to try and put Guided Hand onto my Fennblades, they would have been rolling 3 dice at mat 8, which I think would have definitely opened up a lot of chances to make sure that I hit Goreshade. Now, one thing that sucked is that Goreshade was able to make stationary one of my centermost Fennblades, which caused a unique situation where I was unable to move through that guy, and it was just in a perfect enough spot to block charge lanes. So my major focus right now is to actually to use my feet and such to kill some of my own Fennblades, to clear up charge lanes and get in there and kill Goreshade. Now, as I said at the beginning of this turn, I was rolling tough rolls like a madman, so here I am just kind of moving around trying to make sure that I can make this work. Now, I definitely misplayed this because due to my ability to Blood Boon, I actually killed one of my opponent's models too early, and so therefore put Guided Hand onto my Fennblades, which had I maybe done it a little bit differently, I would have been able to remove my own guy, put Guided Hand onto my Fennblades, and then kept them from actually using the 3 dice to attack their own people. Now, this completely gets botched up due to one fantastic tough roll that, basically caused the issue. So on the other side of Deathjack here, there is a Fennblade just a little bit past him. And that one Fennblade is actually blocking my line of sight to getting to the Fennblade that is stationary. I need to remove the stationary Fennblade in order to be able to get 3 to 4 Fennblades into Goreshade and really try and put some damage into him, since he is sitting on absolutely no focus because of Mulg's ability to to make him cost more, and his want to put down Curse of Shadows and everything else that he needed to, that he's sitting on nothing, and I see an opportunity. Now, I roll into my guy, my Fennblade that's right beside Deathjack, and of course, hit him, kill him, he toughs, he goes nowhere. And because that Fennblade did not die, then the issue is that I'm not able to throw Madrak's axe, which I'm within 8 of the stationary Fennblade, to hit him, kill him, and keep him from toughing. And this caused a unique issue right there. I would have used my axe to kill the Fennblade that was blocking my sight, except for the fact that I needed to kill something with my initial attack in order to put Blood Boon onto the Fennblades to make this work. But because I rolled tough like a master, that did not happen. And because of Surefoot, he didn't get knocked down, so therefore he still blocked my line of sight. So you get your good and you get your bad. It was a unique time when my own thing actually kind of messed me up. So I take the one that decided that he wanted to live, and I run him past, I charge him past Deathjack to attack Goreshade, and thankfully for me, Goreshade misses due to the extra defense. So I get in, I am trying to move my guys in order to try and do some damage. You can definitely see Seething Ginger and I trying to be very precise with my charges, because it's a possibility that if I can get 3 or 4 in there, that I can do, I could possibly end Goreshade. So I decide now that I've removed all of the ghosts up at the top that were corporal, that I am moving my guys through them in order to try and threaten the far side, because I figure that if for some reason I can't end Goreshade here, that I will come across the water and finish him off that way, since most of my Fennblades have made it up to my opponent's side of the board. Now, one of the things that does suck is that due to the Gobbers being so close to the edge and where I put Madrak when I had to attack, it actually causes me to block in my Mauler, so therefore Deathjack has kind of a very direct line to Madrak, and I'm kind of worried about that. So up at the top, you just see me trying to remove a good bit of his guys. I figure if I can just remove some of his units, I can maybe salvage this. I've still got the bouncer, and stuff, so that'll help. I decide to sacrifice the Gobbers to Deathjack in order to try and hold him there, because I know that he's not going to be able to move through my Gobbers to get to Madrak, or at least clear enough space to get to Madrak. I also know that they're efficiently a very cheap point unit, so therefore I think that now that my cloud is gone and I just need to save it a little bit in order to get to Goreshade, I needed to do that. So up at the top I have my champions and I'm moving them around, and we're just laughing about him using his ghosts to get the backstrike. So I decide, after moving my guys up there, I do like this, you can see it now, this trifecta, where I take 2 of my champions and Skaldi, and I turn them all back to back in a triangle formation, so that there's physically no way he can get behind my guys and get that extra defense. Take away that extra defense I get. So my champions on my opponent's side actually attack the arc node, and right off the bat I'm just rolling fire dice and I'm just smashing into him, and I almost kill him. I think I bring him down to 2 points or 1 point left. So but the major point is his arc node's out, so, and his movement, so that makes it less of a worry for me. So here I am realizing that everybody's moved up. I activate the thralls. They come out. They do their own. Oh nope, actually, sorry. I am actually activating the Mauler because I know there's not much I can do with this. So I just kill the one blood witch that's close to me. I put down my thralls, and my thralls are going to do what they need to do. And I have to definitely say, the thralls were definitely a pain in the ass, because they just kept popping out there by that Mauler, and then they would do 6 points or 7 points. They had put 22 points of damage onto the Mauler, which is just absolutely ridiculous, that they were able to be that strong.
All right, I think I got it. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm pretty sure that I can clear out the way to get to Madrak with Goreshade. It's going to be a little tricky, but I want to try and finish the game now as opposed to take it on a little longer. Goreshade's in melee range of Madrak, so it is time to make sure that happens. I've got only my one Bane Knight left. It has been not a good day for them. The Fennblades with Cleave just can chop them right in half. And the champions coming around the side with the rest of the Fennblades makes it so that I don't have a lot of choice here. I need to finish the game. I need to finish now, or I'm going to be beat to death by an entire unabused unit of champions, one of whom is sitting on fire and has been since turn 2. Deathjack is loaded, ready to go. I need to get him. If the plan goes badly, I need to get him over to Madrak and be able to kill him. The Mauler, thankfully, because of the Thralls, because of what's been happening over on that side the entire game, has just been tied up. I've got the witches, they're in play, but they don't need to be. The Blackbanes have done alright job. Incorporeal not being able to make free strikes really hurts right now. Just really hurts. I make sure. Here's where we're talking a little bit about the fog cloud that he put down. Who I can see, where I can see, what I can see. Turns out, because he's using a token, I didn't know that the Runebearer was behind the cloud and not in it, so I need to charge one of the Gobbers. I do. I kill it. It's awesome. And that puts me in a position where I can make attacks on Madrak. Problem is, I forgot about the Scroll of Grindar's Perseverance. I think that's what it's called. He can just ignore a damage roll. And that, at this point, changes my game plan. I need to clear out Deathjack. With only 2 focus on me, I need to clear Deathjack out. I need to kill that Gobber, and I don't. I don't kill the Gobber. So now, even though Madrak's frozen, even though Madrak's 2 inches from Goreshade 2 and 2.5 inches from Deathjack, I'm probably not going to do it. The game, at that moment, I thought I was done. And I started looking and thinking and thinking. But, and I don't know when it comes to me, but I look at it and I go, this is how the game is going to end. I have an AoE spell on Goreshade 3. I can cast Hex Blast and blow up the Gobber in front of me before my activation. So I spend 3, I drop it on his head, and I kill him, enabling me at that point to advance, because I've cast my spells just like a spellcaster. I advance, punch, and I've got 5 attacks to kill Madrak with, and then it's game over. It is... I don't know where my brain hung up in terms of trying to find it, but I'm glad I did, because that was a disaster.
So I got kind of excited there at the end. Once again, Curse of Shadows caught up with me, and the Gobbers definitely did what they needed to do. I just didn't expect Goreshade shooting across the board to try and get the assassination on Madrak. I was really excited there for a minute when Deathjack missed hitting the Gobbers, and I thought he wasn't going to be able to move up. And actually at that point, my opponent thought that he had lost. But after taking a minute to analyze the situation, realized that he could kill the Gobbers, move Deathjack up, and beat the living hell out of Madrak. Of course, great game with Seething Ginger, and I can definitely say that the longest night scenario is very interesting, to say the least. Thanks for watching, everybody.